The other day I was chatting with a friend of mine who just started playing Wuthering Waves. I've been here since day one, so I don't really face the same struggles anymore, but because they saw me creating Wuthering Waves content, they decided to ask some questions. And what happened to them made me realize that there is actually a big problem for new players right now. Good morning, my little starlights, welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy those type of videos, remember to subscribe and like the video, and maybe we can cover more topics like this in the future. But anyway, we are currently in the version 2.6. The story has moved forward and the newest area, Sanguis Plateau, part of the Septimont, was introduced in the latest story quest. My friend was lucky enough to pull for Augusta. Super exciting, right? I am so happy for you. Anyway, but here's where the things fell apart. To level Augusta up, they need materials that are locked in Sanguis Plateau. They can't even access the area until they progress far enough in the story. On the surface, it seems fine. Kuro usually makes sure the boss materials needed for new characters are available as soon as the character comes out, and the trial for the characters and some other places provide some of the materials needed, but not enough. The real roadblock comes from other two sources: regional specialties and enemy drops. First, the regional specialties, things like flowers or other unique resources, can technically be obtained from the regional shop, but there are two big issues. First, the shop is tied to the region, so you can only buy them once you unlock it. Second, the shop limits you to 15 items per week, which is far from enough to level your characters efficiently. Second, the enemy drops. These are the materials that characters need for leveling and upgrading. Kuro is trying to address this by allowing players to buy these drops using the currency that comes from pulling characters. However, for the new players, especially free-to-play ones, it's extremely difficult to gather enough of this currency early on. While the system exists, it's not really a practical solution. My friend, for example, was able to level Augusta, but only up to level 50. After that, they hit a wall, not because they didn't play enough, but because the game physically wouldn't let them get the resources they needed. Another huge problem is the ecosystem. Basically, artifacts in Wuthering Waves. The trend in the latest updates is that when a character releases, they come with a dedicated eco set that is designed for them. But again, those sets are tied to the newest region. The players can't farm the right echoes because the domains are locked behind the story progression. Kuro has tried to ease this by handing out boxes with random echoes, which is helpful, but doesn't cover every set. So if you want the best build for a brand new character, you just can't get it, We also thought about another solution. Maybe my friend could join my world since I've already unlocked Sanguis Plateau, but new players can't join worlds that are at the higher world level, so that option isn't available. Kuro is trying to address some of these points. They've added events that give double echo materials, lowered some of the costs for upgrading, and increased drop yields in certain cases. That's a step into the right direction. But the core issue, the fact that the region lock specialties, enemy drops, and echo domains are all gated behind the story progression, remains a huge barrier for anyone starting the game late. So for players like me who've been here since launch, this isn't really a problem. We've had months to stockpile materials and farm echoes. And even so, when a new character comes out with some special materials tied to a new region and locked behind story progression, it's a bit frustrating because you can't prepare ahead of time. You have to start farming for them as soon as the update drops. Some echoes are also tied to the story progression. For example, when Cartithia came out, I couldn't get her echo because one of the enemies was locked behind a side quest. For new players, this feels like hitting a wall immediately. Imagine pulling for Augusta, those stars, being excited to try her out and realizing you can't get past level 50 for the next week or two, nor get their proper artifact set, all because the game just won't let you. So here are a few ideas that maybe could make things fairer and more enjoyable for new players from my perspective. First of all, maybe we could get a global or rotating shop. You know, materials from any region like flowers, things like that will be available for purchase periodically. Also bonus quests or journals for new players, special storylines or tasks that could reward regional materials or echoes and needed for the new characters. Maybe also a shared resources or compensation system. You know, the new players could automatically receive some rare materials or bonuses for what they missed. The goal is to make new players feel rewarded for pulling exciting characters instead of hitting a wall that slows down the progression. The excitement of a new character should be fun, not frustrating. But, you know, what do you think?
This is the worst!
Have you run into this problem as a new player? And if you've been playing since the start, do you think the system is fine as it is, or should the devs make it more balanced? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear your perspective. And remember to subscribe and like the video so we can have those deep dive discussions later on. And as always, stay cozy, stay shiny, and I love you so much, Starlights. Bye!